Hey, Hive Radical here. Wanted to come up and post a response to Shazoolo's video from, it looks like it's from a month back. It's titled Disturbing Doctrines from the Mormon Pre-existence. Now, I don't know if I'm going to cover every point. It was a couple of days ago I saw your video. I've wanted to put up a thing. I really don't have a lot of time, so I'm just going to go off of what I remember. You touch in on the Mormon doctrine of our state in this right now in our mortal lives as being emergent from decisions that were made in the past. At one point in there, you quote something from the Doctrines of Salvation. I think it's important to point out that the part involving skin color is put forward as is something that's not put forward as doctrine. It's put forward as speculation by President Smith. And well, as you point out, he was an apostle at the time. But he does not put forth that skin color is inherently a part of this doctrine. And I think that's something important to consider. But moving on from that, I find it interesting that you would grasp onto this doctrine and claim it as being so disturbing. If you go back and study early Christianity, you'll find that people such as Origen, Origen's a pretty big figure in early Christianity, but Origen actually held the same view. The view that, the irony is in all of this is you're putting forward this idea that it's showing partiality in God. That at least, from your perspective that you're setting it up. But it was this idea of God being non-partial that actually led Origen to believe that our conditions here were reflections of past doings of us as individuals. And if you really look at it, it really does have to be that way, because otherwise God has placed a whole bunch of people here on earth in all sorts of different circumstances for no apparent reason. And all of these things that they go through, all of these experiences, all of these supposedly, will impact, how they can access salvation and how they can access Jesus Christ. But you're putting forth that there is no reason for them being placed in these crazy circumstances other than a decision by God. And if it's a decision by God, then what was that based on? Clearly, we're not set in equal positions in this life. We're all born in different circumstances. Now, one thing that I think is important to consider and often isn't considered both by members in my church and by critics when they're often misanalyzing this doctrine is the fact that what is and isn't an advantage and a benefit is, it's not enumerated at all anywhere in any of our doctrine. So whether you're saying skin color or how much material wealth the person has access to, these things are not indicators of a person's past righteousness. A person's skin color doesn't indicate it, where a person's born, because if you look at, ultimately what's going to benefit somebody, they aren't measured in those terms by God. So I think it just strikes me as really odd that you would pick this one and then you seem completely oblivious to the fact that Origen, great Christian scholar from early Christianity, he's the one who debated Celsus. He's a major figure, but he held this very view, and the way he came to it was because he saw a need for explaining the reason why God set things up the way they did without making God be a partial God. But you're trying to, paint it as if are having this doctrine makes God a partial God, when it does, in fact, the complete opposite, because from your position, there is no reason for why anything is the way it is here, other than God just arbitrarily decided it. So anyway, and I can't remember if there was anything else I wanted to address, but that's about all I have time for right now. Hope you're doing well, and look forward to hearing any response from you.